The following program is dedicated to two real Americans. Mr. T, who is still gracing us on this earth, and our American Negro brother, Malcolm Jamal Warner. May he rest in peace.
Released. Now don't forget, I hated anybody that wasn't white. Released. Now don't forget, I hated anybody that wasn't white.
This is a message to white America. If you view Hulk Hogan as a real American and celebrate his life and condemn any American Negro that does not celebrate his life, not only are you a racist, but it makes America a racist country for openly celebrating an anti-Negro racist. Let's be clear. Right here in 2025, racism is the number one problem, not just in the WWE, not just in AEW, not just in TNA, but in America and worldwide. The whites has not changed one iota since they came into our existence. Do not let poor whites or a white with an act of kindness or a smiling face fool you. White history can bear witness that not some whites are racist, but all whites are racist. This is Hulk Hogan meeting with American Negro fans. Mind you, American Negroes view Hulk Hogan as a god, and Hulk Hogan view American Negroes as nigger. Hulk Hogan gone, y'all. This is the moment that we've been waiting for a very long time. Hulkamania may be dead, but racism still lives on, so long as there are white folk left on this earth. Hulk Hogan is a piece of shit, and that's what he's going to be attempting to rest in as we continue to wrestle with racism. Be sure to stick around after this edition of Rasslin with Racism, as we will have bonus content available for all American Negroes to enjoy. Hulk Hogan was a piece of shit, a piece of white shit, and that's how he should be remembered.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, talking is cheap. But we can't all condemn the white man. There's something we got to do. The white man is doomed, but we got to help him on his way. And I don't mean in the jest of hate. I mean according to the plan of divine providence. He that has been up a long time must come down. He that's been down a long time must rise.
If you are an American Negro and an American Negro only, subscribe to Rasslin with Racism on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, Spotify, Rumble, and crackers that out on Twitter X. You can find more white truths.
She is sure not pretty, and her skirt is short. Lord knows her legs are steady. And to walk to school, she's got to get up early with clothes on, but they are never
can't all condemn the white man. There's something we got to do. The white man is doomed, but we got to help him on his way.
Before I present this long-lost hidden interview, I want to take the time to honor a real American, Mr. T. Mr. T was the man who single-handedly put not only Hulk Hogan on the map, but the World Wrestling Federation on the map. Mr. T was an influence to millions of American Negroes, and that is the specific reason as to why he was blackballed from the media. I found this interview, and it was very interesting, and it was raw and uncut. Pay attention to the manufactured Hulk Hogan, and pay attention to the real Mr. T, and recognize why white folk do not talk about Mr. T today, and why white folk hid Mr. T from the world. Pay attention. And by the way, this is for American Negroes and American Negroes only. So if you are any other ethnic group and white, leave. If you are an American Negro, check out the other content. If it hits you to the core, subscribe and share with every single American Negro that you know, whether they are wrestling fans or not. You may also find Rasslin with Racism on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, Spotify, Rumble, and that non-crackers that out on Twitter X, where you can find more white truths. And as of last night, you may also find Rasslin with Racism on Patreon. American Negroes, please come through and show your support. Enjoy the program.
And such. He says America was founded by racist, thieves, and opportunists. I'm paraphrasing that, but I think that is.
Hogan took every opportunity that he could.
Yeah.
He took every opportunity that he could, and he ran with it. I can't listen. As a person, I can't knock him for that. You know what I'm saying? Protect your spot. You know, but you the racism is the thing that you put this veil over American Negroes' heads. So many children looked at you as this superhero to the point to where even when you died, they don't want to let you go.
And you said, you know, right on to Hogan, him protecting the spot. But I mean, for people to credit him for, you know, creating wrestling as we know it today, I mean, just think of how much his politics deprived us of. Like, he still never put.
Well, I do want to say this. It worked for several reasons. For Hulk Hogan specific. You gotta remember, Hogan was a large man, a very charismatic man, but TV was that Kerry Von Erich could have been in that spot with Mr. T. I want y'all to realize who was the key to Hulk Hogan's success. The key to Hulk Hogan's success was Mr. T. Honor, I talked to you personally a couple of months ago, and I was watching this Mr. T thing on YouTube with him and Hulk Hogan. It was a personal interview. They even showed it wasn't even edited. They were showing them from walking in to all this other different stuff to setting up the cameras and all that. It was literally behind the scenes, everything, including the whole interview. Mr. T did all the promotion. Mr. T did all the talking. Mr. T hyped that shit up, and Hogan said minimal Hulk Hogan stuff, and Mr. T did the work.
Are the lights, is that marginally better?
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I'm talking to two pros, but look at me and
do what you want. Up to a point.
How long is this case?
Well, it'll be the closing piece for World News Tonight. Okay. So I know we'll keep the interview pretty concise because I don't want to, waste their time. But okay. Let me start with you, Mr. T. You're a lead actor in a hit series. You're world famous. Shows a hit all over the world. How come you decided to climb into the ring?
I like violence. I say that because people always saying that our show is real violent, so I'm tired of going around trying to be the nice guy saying we're really not violent and all that stuff, so I'm people always saying certain negative things, so I'm agreeing with them, so that kills a point, I mean, a little reverse psychology I like to use there.
My daughter, who was a Cyndi Lauper fan, says that one of the things you said was that you came in because you felt that she was being unduly
Exactly. Well, it was two things. I was sitting in Madison Square Garden when the incident happened, and plus, like I said, I've always been a great fan of the Hawks. We met when we did Rocky III. Then when I saw that happen, it was just two strikes. Number one, it was two guys jumping on the Hawk, and then when Cyndi Lauper screamed in the protest, one of the guys slapped her. So like I said, I would have been less than a man if I didn't intervene in there. Like I said, I think I was the only man in Madison Square Garden at that point, because if there were any other men in there, they would have jumped to the aid themselves. But a lot of wimps around here. That's why crime is so high in New York.
I saw you years ago win the bouncer competition.
Yes.
Is that training going to stand you in good stead when you get into the ring?
No, the training that I have getting out the ghetto, that's going to help me in the ring come Sunday with WrestleMania March 31st. See, winning the bouncer contest, I won that contest not because I was the toughest, the roughest, or the meanest, or the baddest. I won because the cause that I represented was far more greater than the other guy's cause. I wanted to win to feed the hungry and clothe the naked. That's why I won, because I'm grateful to God, and that's my power going into that bouncer contest. That enabled me to win. Other guy want to win, give him a new card or give him some clothes. I was just thanking God for giving me an ability to participate. So that makes me a winner right there. Like I tell the kids, whatever happened on March 31st, I'll always be a winner, whether I win or lose or whatever. But the fact that makes me a winner because I stand up for injustice. I stand up for the downtrodden, for the weak. I'm making a point, trying to get kids off drugs, trying to get kids away from the wrong crowd, trying to get kids off alcohol, trying to listen to their parents, stay in school. That makes me a winner.
Okay. Hulk, you're the WWF champion. Wrestling's been big in this country, I don't know, for decades. It seems to me now it's getting a new kind of audience. I noticed Gloria Steinem, Andy Warhol. Are you guys becoming trendy in a way you never were before?
Well, it's been around for a long time. Like you said, it is like a new trend because there's a new breed of wrestlers that have entered the sport. The young, aggressive, athletic type guys. There are no more big fat slobs that are on top making a lot of money. This is a sport where the top guys in professional wrestling could have played anything they wanted, from professional football to hockey to baseball or whatever. There are a lot of great athletes. Most of the reasons for the guys being in the sport now is because there's a lot of money involved, and they've got a chance. They don't have to be participating in a team sport hidden by football helmets and pads and stuff like that. You can be an individual, and there's also a chance to express your personality, which is an entertainment factor that is added to the sport. So the whole thing encompasses a new breed of wrestlers, a new charisma, a new spirit involved, and it's bringing a lot of people out of the closet that used to just watch wrestling on TV. They see how exciting it is live in the arenas, and it's turned into a whole family extravaganza.
It struck me that,
In a way, what you're up to in the ring and what rock performers have been doing ever since MTV is not all that different. I mean, we get to see these guys in person, we get to see what they look like, and as you say, wrestling is a sport where you get to know the individuals very well. Are you comfortable with that with that link?
Well, it's like sports entertainment, that and the fact that the rock and roll crowd are one and the same. It's a very excitable crowd. It's a younger crowd, even though you see a lot of businessmen and families there, like I mentioned. But it's definitely entertainment with a lot of athletic ability involved. And that's what the people get off on. They're coming there to be entertained. And when I come out to the crowd yelling and screaming and flexing my arms and ripping my clothes off, the people really get off on the entertainment factor. But once that's all over with, they appreciate the fact that we are supreme athletes and we can perform and we can wrestle and we can get the job done. It's a whole entertainment, I don't know how you'd say it, it's a couple different worlds in one. And yes, to answer your question, the rock and roll fans and the wrestling fans are stark raving maniacs, one and the same.
So they really get off, it seems to me, both those crowds. When they get to a ring, 20,000 people in the Garden, there just seems to be such a release of energy.
Right, well, it's a psychological release. People come, they need this type of entertainment. Like I said, wrestling fans are unlike any other fans around. Wrestling fans don't attend soccer. They don't attend tennis matches. They want to get involved. That's them sophisticated crowd. Tennis, you don't holler, ooh, that's phony.
You know, you go there, your neck gets hurt and you ain't released. You know, you need some release. So they go to a wrestling, they can really get into, all right. Well, man, they feel good. They get their money worth. You know, like a baseball and say, oh, wow, God, and bum out, you know, they upset. But when they read a wrestling, they can really be entertained. They thoroughly enjoy two athletes, you know, that's skillful and talented. See them do all kind of moves and whatnot. It's artistic. It's like watching a flying trapeze, the artistry there. You know, one guy dive off the ring post, boom, and another guy do this move and all that. Man, that's pretty. That's exciting. All of you go there and say, man, I wish I can do that. So you get a chance to cheer the good guy and boo the bad guy.
Now that both you guys, at least Sunday, you're good guys. You're heroes. It strikes me, you Hulk in particular, 30 years ago, you might not have been a good guy, because as I remember, people who looked like you were often the guys that the audience didn't like. How come both of you are good guys?
Well, you know, we both represent something that everybody in America believes in and stands behind. You know, we, like T says, you know, we train, we say our prayers, we eat our vitamins, we don't mess around with drugs, we don't drink, and we play it real straight, you know. And a lot of people, just by us telling the truth, a lot of people get off on that. That's all we have to do is tell the truth, you know. And it's just, with the thing we stand for and we believe in, sometimes people get a little upset with us because, like, when we're training now, we've been nasty to a lot of people. You know, a lot of our fans we should have signed autographs for. We've got something on our mind. We've got March 31st, WrestleMania, the largest closed circuit event ever. We've got two guys, Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, who are known for taking cheap shots and kicking you in the teeth if they get a chance. And like I said, we'd like to apologize to all the people that stand behind us because maybe we've been a little irritable this week. We've been training hard. The guys been punching me in the head all week, getting me up early, running me all over New York City. But a few years ago, maybe we would have been bad guys. But today, the people, I guess you could almost call it survival. You know, we'll go out there and wrestle fair and square if that was the case. But if somebody gives us a cheap shot or tries to take advantage of us, the people get off on the fact that we're survivors and we'll give them one heck of a receipt. You know, that's what the people like about us because we won't lay down and cry. If T gets his nose broke or his arms broke and he can't go do the A-team, you're not going to hear this man cry. He's going to say, hey, that's the way it was. WrestleMania, March 31st, 1985. There are no crybabies here involved. And the people get off on the fact that we're street smart, we're street fighters, and we'll fight for what we believe in no matter what it takes. Maybe a few years ago you could call us the bad guys, but I call us just survivors now.
Right. See, what's really happening is this here. See, people are looking beyond our physical, our look. Like you might say, sure, maybe a couple years ago, a long time ago, people might say, wow, them guys look like freaks or whatever. So people are looking beyond Mr. T Mandinka hairstyle or the Hulk ways with long hair and things like that. That's what I'm saying. See, a long time ago, we were so quickly to judge somebody by their appearance. You know, not by what's in their heart, what's in their mind. So now we get them, we say, wow, we can't use that no more. So we got to start judging people as people. Like I said, we represent the good. We're not out there freebasing. We're not out there dealing with reefers or marijuana or enticing kids to drink or something like that. We're exactly the good. So slowly the kids already saw that. Slowly the parents are beginning to get into this, say, wow, these guys are clean living guys, upstanding. And the average guy around, you know, every guy would like to, you know, it's amazing, and you know, they stare at the Hulk built and whatnot. They say, man, I wish I was built like that guy, you know. So and because of that brings about a lot of envy. So guys, they say, wow, they not be like that. So now they tell their wives don't go. Feel their wife might be glancing at his muscle and whatnot, and look at them. So all that goes into a play. That means I don't like him because you really think about it, just to be realistic, you know. Here we telling people to do good, we ain't telling nobody to do nothing bad or whatever, and some people are gonna have their problems with that. Mainly because they throw something up, a smoke screen for the real fact. They say, wow, you know, since I'm not built like that guy, he might take my wife or my girlfriend. But kids don't see that. They see it, good entertainment, clean living, and we need heroes these days. Because the hero we used to have wind up being junkies or something. Now,
wrestling also needs, it seems to me, really good villains. I mean, you got the Iron Sheik. Iran isn't too popular in this country. You got Volkov, is that his name? The Russian who stands there and you could understand how an audience might resent the guy singing the Soviet national anthem in the middle of a ring. Why is Rowdy Roddy such a great villain? I mean, he really does seem to me to be a terrific bad guy. He just makes you want to do what you hope to do with them on Sunday.
Well,
Tell me about it.
It's like these guys in this profession live this thing 24 hours a day. Maybe, I don't know why Roddy Piper has such a chip on his shoulder. Maybe a lot of people say that he's standing in my shadow. He wants to be the world's heavyweight champion. He wants to have 24-inch arms. He wants to be a role model for the kids. And sometimes people take a lot of shortcuts to try to get there, you know. It's taken me 12 long years to get where I'm at in professional wrestling. And a lot of guys think they can make leaps and bounds and use people as stepping stones by taking shortcuts. And what I see in Roddy Piper's character is the attitude or the aggressiveness, I don't know the exact word you'd use, to be number one at what he does. And he's not going to get there by doing bad things or taking shortcuts. And it's a situation of when I look at the man, he's frustrated, he's irritated. And when I was in the ring, I saw the evil in his eyes. It was like looking at the devil. He's so frustrated. He wants what I have so bad it's eating him alive. And that's the cutoff point there. You're not going to get it by taking a cheap shot or a shortcut, because when you're right and when you're positive and you're in the right spot and you're doing the right things, it's hard to get knocked down when you're right.
What I mean is that there are people who say, well, you know, like in politics, people fight and then they go out and have a drink, have dinner, whatever.
Right.
After Sunday, could you two see yourself going out with Roddy and his opponent and saying, well, it was all in good fun, now let's go out and have dinner? Is that how it works?
Nah. Well, you know, you've asked a lot of good questions, and I'm not going to say that's a stupid question, but it's a little unrealistic. You know, I don't believe in what Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper do. For instance, Paul Orndorff has one of the most dangerous holds in professional wrestling. It's called a pile driver, where they'll jam a man's spine by dropping him on his head. And I can appreciate the hold. I would call it a submission deadly hold. But even after he wins the match, he goes on and punishes his opponents by maybe applying the hold again or trying to hurt him. And I don't see how we could, with everything that we stand for, believe, I don't see how after Sunday we could go out and be friends with these type of individuals, because they don't fit my lifestyle. I don't like their attitude, their personality, and I just don't get off on what they do. So the question that you asked is just unrealistic for me to be able to comprehend that. I just can't even ever imagine me being friends with Roddy Piper or Paul Orndorff unless they really did a whole U-turn in their whole lifestyle.
It's just like shaking the hand with shaking the hand of a child molester. You know, the guy just wrong, period. You know, you just can't be the company friend. See, anytime a guy becomes our opponent, he becomes our oppressor. When a man becomes our oppressor, he becomes our enemy. And when a man becomes our enemy, he must be destroyed. So that's what we got to do to these guys. There's no game, no joke here. I've been telling people, this is serious business. If it wasn't serious, you know, I would not have lost all these pounds I've lost. You know, I would not have been training viciously and intensely and been as determined as I am. You know, I sleep with this bar, I take it everywhere I go, not to try to look tough, but constantly, you know, keep exercising, keep my mind on what I got to do. People ask me, why you not wearing the gold? The gold, because it's serious business. You know, I got to concentrate on what I got to do. I got to stay hungry. We got to have the eye of the tiger. We got to train 2 or 3 times a day. Not my idea to be giving all these interviews, because our opponents not giving interviews. They are training, so they got to jump on us. You know, so that's why I say I've been walking around with a chip on my shoulder, with basically the bad attitude, because I'm not feeling well. I'm not feeling well per se to do a lot of talking. I'm not trying to promote ticket sales or whatever, whether somebody come to the match or not. You know, we're going to take care of these guys. You know, we're going to take them in the back alley somewhere, make me no different, you know, because what I'm prepared to do is to take care of business. You know, I ain't for no jokes and people asking, whether D is a rookie or how they just going to happen. You know, like I said, I got something for that. I got what I call Mr. T's 10 turbo torture test. The average guy can probably barely get to 1. You know, Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper and the ace Cowboy Bob Orton might get to 3 or 4, but no man going to get to 10. Not alive.
All right, you've been very patient, so let me just ask you one last question about the future of wrestling. I mean, you've had a loyal audience ever since I was a kid. It was a big popular sport, filled the garden all the time. Is there a danger that if this thing becomes really hot, I mean, reaching audiences it never did before, as I say, you got Gloria Steinem and Andy Warhol and Joe Piscopo and Geraldine Ferraro rooting you on, is there a danger that your hardcore audience, people who've come year in and year out, are going to feel that you've lost touch a little bit? How do you prevent that?
No, I don't think so. I think it'll just make them feel that they were right all the time, you know, that they were really a part of the foundation. And, you know, sometimes we get a little irritated with people that make fun of wrestling or in years past made fun of wrestling. Now all of a sudden they're jumping on the bandwagon because it's the end thing to do. Wrestling is getting the highest ratings of almost any TV programs or shows on the air now, and all of a sudden people want to be seen at wrestling matches. They want to be seen with Mr. T and Hulk Hogan because Mr. T is now a part of wrestling. He has become as good as a professional wrestler, and on March 31st we're going to find out just how good he is, you know. And they want to be associated with Mr. T because he's with wrestling. They want to be associated with me. And we don't mind if they jump on the bandwagon, but if you do jump on, don't get off, you know. If you're really a sport, if you're really a fan, stick with us because we're going to be here a long, long time.
Any predictions of that Sunday?
Pain.
We're going to win.
It won't be pretty. It won't be scientific. But we're gonna win.
Got to.
Every day.
That's good. Just let us take a bit of a wide shot and be done.
Okay.
I do appreciate it. I know it's early.
Really
I know
good
you've
questions,
been.
you know. Some guys don't even know how to approach this, you know.
I watch you guys.
Well, some guys don't even know nothing about it. They come in cold, and that's an
They
insult
don't
to
know
us.
who we are really or what
I'm
we're
old
doing.
enough to remember Haystacks Calhoun.
Oh my gosh.
600 pounds.
Right, I remember him.
Remember
we made a
Gorgeous
little
Silver?
TV.
I have just one question for you, man. You said you provide a role model for children a lot.
Right.
And you condone, you said violence, you like violence. Do you feel that providing a role model who likes violence may be detrimental to kids?
No, teaching kids to stand up to them for themselves. Kids won't beat up on themselves. Adults beat up on themselves. You know, kids will protect each other. Kids won't let their mothers be insulted. Let their sister be insulted by some jerk on the street. You know, to me, like I said the other day, and I've been saying for years, you know, it's a shame and it's an insult to so-called manhood. You know, how can a man here in New York let his wife, his children be afraid to walk and play on the street? You buy you a house and your kids can't play on the street because some punk down the block or whatever. Where are the men in the neighborhood? Where are the men in society? We call ourselves a men because we can go to the gym and lift 200-300 pounds, or we can curse, or we can say we tough, we can get a woman pregnant, and that's supposed to make us a man. No. Kids, you know, like I said, that's a problem. See, a lot of adults can't see, or a lot of adults have a problem with Mr. T. Just like you were talking about earlier about the people, people in South Africa. But like I said, basically a lot of people like over here, they say, why is it all the kids like you, Mr. T? Because kids see truth, justice, and the godly way in Mr. T, not the American way, because the American way have a way of lying and trickery. Kids see the love I have. When I tell a kid I love them, I mean it. I tell a kid that I'm going to stand up for them when they call me to go to court with them. They didn't call Magnum. They didn't call Superman. Why they didn't call the Smurf? Why they called Mr. T? Because they don't see Mr. T as black. They see Mr. T as a man who's going to be there, who's going to take off, who's not going to get caught up in the money aspect of an 18 and say, hey man, I got to go be with the kids. If I am their true hero, nothing stands in between me and them. If they reach out to me, I would have been less than a man not to provide them with the protection and the guidance that they needed. They feel secure with Mr. T because Mr. T ain't going to be lying. Ain't going to be telling one thing, they ain't going to do another. I ain't going to tell no kid, don't do drugs, then go up in my room and snort cocaine. No, you won't catch me out there these places. They've been trying to set me up with this stuff because they want to undercut what I'm about. They hate that. Adults don't want to see that. A lot of men feel that's a threat to them if their child look up to Mr. T. But if he was a secure man with who he were, it wouldn't be no threat. He'd be saying, wow, you're doing a nice job, Mr. T. Very rare I get a man come up and tell me that. He said, Mr. T, I want to thank you for all the kind things you're doing with the kids. It makes me want to cry because I want to hug that man. Because it's rare that I get that. But some mothers can see that. So some men get insulted because they figure Mr. T's trying to take their lady. All this silly stuff, you know. But like I said, you would figure I'll be the most popular guy around. I'm telling kids, don't hang with the wrong crowd, don't smoke, don't drink, don't do drugs. But you know what happened? Mr. T is stepping on toes. If I tell kids don't do drugs, the dope dealer don't like Mr. T. If I tell kids don't drink, the breweries association don't like Mr. T. If I tell kids don't smoke, Reynolds Tobacco Company don't like Mr. T. You see, if I tell kids don't hang out the wrong crowd, the thugs don't like Mr. T. You see what I mean? So a kid might say, wow, I want to be strong like Mr. T. But I tell kids, it's more to Mr. T than just my muscles. It's my heart that I can say no to drugs. I can say no to all these so-called orgies that they having. And people don't like that. Oh, Mr. T, look at me talking about 1 minute he talking about God, next minute he doing this here. Kids know the difference. You know, and why old number say, why you in there say violence? Kids gonna laugh at that because they know what's happening. Adults have the problem. That's why people say, Mr. T is shows most violent on TV. I used to go around saying, no, he ain't violent. Everybody know if I was to hit a man with all the rings, I'm having me blood everywhere. But the kids know the difference. Adults have the problem. Know why? Jealousy. I'm that same black, nappy-headed kid from the south side of Chicago, living on welfare they used to laugh at. Used to look down to. Now they gotta look up to. You know, I'm not poor no more. I'm rich. That bothers a lot of people. I'm the same guy where we the same show people say wouldn't be on the air for 2 weeks. Mr. T and Georgia Park wouldn't get along. I respect Georgia Park as a father. People don't like that.
You know, the violence that being around Mr. T, the violence that he advocates is all really on a surface level, man. You know, we're not digging real deep and saying you need to go, Mr. T's not into robbing people or beating everybody up just because, you know, he's a bad guy. It's real.
I was just thinking about this, you know, before WrestleMania, you know, wrestling really wasn't a thing at all.
No, it was regional.
No, I want to say, and mind you, WrestleMania was a trash-ass show. That was a trash-ass 3-minute main event. Let's not get it twisted now. The main event was only 3 minutes. And it was
it was really conceptualized like the ABA before it merged into the NBA. Like, the NBA wasn't big like that. People
entertain. This is a very important topic, and if you are not familiar with Rasslin with Racism, check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, Spotify, Rumble, and at Non-Crackers at Ours on Twitter X, where you can find more from day one white truths. So just pay attention really quickly. And that's how they make their judgments too. But they do look at a lot of people in a different light as a result. So they're going to look at Malcolm Jamal Warner as an upstanding nigger, an uppity nigger, a sassy man, right? But you could have the same, and they're going to treat him as if they would treat the next Tom, right? But you could act the exact same way. You, as a regular citizen, and they don't respect you, and they're going to disrespect you to your face. Them disrespecting Bill Cosby through Malcolm Jamal Warner, but they harp it down on us for what they call disrespect when it come down to Hulk Hogan, when we truly harbor in true feelings. But let's talk about these wrestling fans, because I was on the space earlier and with some black people who and you know what, these people not no hardcore wrestling fans, but they, you know, they wanted to capitalize on what's his name, Def. And I talked to Tariq Nasheed last night too. Had a little conversation with him about Hulk Hogan, or really, you know, broke down Hulk Hogan's career as best as I could in 5 minutes. But I was talking to some coons earlier, and I didn't realize they was coons. When Negro was up there, you know, I thought it was just a regular little space. And I go in there, and then, you know, the guy just really hyping Hulk Hogan up, which I understand. He gave all the Hulk Hogan best accolades, this, that, and the other. But then he started going into, and I just don't see, because all he did was just say nigger, and we say that all day, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. But that wasn't the problem, because you're going to get 1 or 2 people like that, but it's just like everybody up there just did it. So I kind of stepped in, and I'm like, you know, how in the hell y'all gonna sit up here and defend somebody that view you and your children and your parents and everything surrounding you as a nigger just because he entertained you? You know, Triple H entertained me. His career is over. Now you can go. I don't want you controlling what I see on my TV. You can go. How do y'all feel about these coon ass wrestlers? Let's not even talk about the whites, because the whites gonna be the whites regardless. Comparing this shit to George Floyd and shit, the whites is gonna be the whites regardless. How do y'all feel about these coon ass people? You know, it's okay to have an appreciation for somebody, but to kiss they ass. That's what I was saying about Donald Trump. It's okay for you to want him to be your president because you feel like he's going to do a better job. But what you do is you kiss his ass. And that's where we have a problem. How do y'all feel about these coon-ass wrestling fans? That's condemning Negroes for expressing their feelings about a man that view them as a nigger.
Well, honestly, the reason why is because they have this, you know, they believe all the horrible things by the media and everything else. You don't believe that, black people are, they believe black people are the lowest, you know, ring in the office. They're low. They don't deserve to be anything else, and they love to cosplay. They do all this type of stuff. They have this. I mean, that's the problem mentally. And spiritually, they're broken. That's the problem. They're mentally and spiritually broken, and you need to call that out. We have to call that out because if we don't call that out, you know what happens is that it grows and grows in these social media platforms.
Like what's happening with Tiffany Stratton, right?
Yep. She's getting more burdened by the minute.
I want to remind, we living in a different age now. I want to remind everybody, had Hulk Hogan had to come out expressing his feelings against the American Negroes publicly, or if it had been caught privately, Hulk Hogan would not be Hulk Hogan today. They would have cut that shit. But now we living in the age now to where Tiffany Stratton can call black women black bitches, and Tiffany Stratton can call black men black boys. And no consequences. We literally watched 40 years of a white man be horrible to not just black people, but to white people. He fucked Miss Elizabeth. And this man hasn't faced a single consequence about absolutely. He hasn't taken accountability or received any consequences for anything his entire life. And now we got the opportunity to watch that with women like Tiffany Stratton. But then again, some of these people are actually coons. But I want y'all to know how much of a factor this is. I clipped this in because me and Negro had this little conversation. You know, wrestling is a safe space, and I think I talked about this with Tariq too. Wrestling is a safe space to escape from reality. And generally in wrestling is consisting of a lot of nerds who may be shunned from their family, who may feel, when they into that heavy, or they into anime heavy, or they into some things that may seem uncultured to American Negroes. And don't get it twisted. American Negroes are great wrestling fans, but then you got people that watch it all day, every day, and they just live life through it, and then they tend to get shunned. Mind you, they're getting shunned by their own people. You know what I'm saying? And so their safe zone is professional wrestling, to the point to where they could never wake up to the realities. They feel safer to Hulk Hogan, who made them believe. You got to understand, Hulk Hogan made people believe. Hulk Hogan made people of the shape of Adam Cole believe.
He made people... Yeah, that was the thing. That was one thing that Hogan...
He didn't take none of his advice. He didn't take as much as supplements and vitamins.
I think they missed the plot. Hulk Hogan low-key damaged this business because he made people want to be this professional wrestler, but nobody want to do the fucking work. Eat your vitamins. Do your steroids.
But the problem is the steroid trial, though, which probably messed a lot of things up. And, most wrestlers
what ultimately killed it was Chris Benoit.
And by the way, those little guys took steroids, by the way.
Wrestlers are satanic Luciferians, so they ain't saying their prayers neither.
Yeah, Chris Benoit shit definitely killed it. It's a nasty history, and it's a nasty history that Cody Rhodes, if you sincere, this is the nasty history that Cody Rhodes will not address. White folk got these problems with their parents and stuff, and they know that their parents is racist, but they'll expose every fucking thing, but they will not expose racism. Let's talk about Hulk Hogan and Brooke Hogan real quick. They got a long-standing sexual history. In Hulk Hogan's most vulnerable moment, he was making love to another man's wife, and he was at his most vulnerable when he started talking about his hatred for niggers, what he called niggers. His daughter, he found out his daughter was fucking the black man, and he realized that he could never have sex with her again, because that is a major sin to a lot of white men, especially Christian white men like Hulk Hogan, right? She committed a major sin. And so, he cut her off essentially.
You got that soul pole.
Yeah, he cut her off, and he know he could never mess her up. That little pink piece of shit is one thing that there's certain things that you can't manufacture. And that's one of them. You know what I'm saying? So he lost his girl forever. And so to the point, because you gotta know, how horrible of a father do you have to be for someone to turn down millions of dollars in an inheritance for your dad?
He had to be fucking her. For anybody that think that she did it based off of him being a racist is a fucking fool. Because if she really did, she would have took that money and spread it around to American Negro causes. Her issue with Hulk Hogan is personal. He was fucking her. Terry Bollea was the first dick that Brooke Bollea ever had in her life. Let's wake that shit up. Now I want to wake that up, but on top of that, and that's why I hope Hulk Hogan's funeral is televised, and I hope she get up there and speak it to the world. We need white folk to start exposing other white folk through nature. We need to start exposing their nastiness. Stop having the man be presented to the world as a god without giving the opportunity to know. Let the world know how trifling this man was. Now let's say that Brooke Bollea does come out with the fact that Terry was fucking her. How would white America react?
They're probably sweeping under the rug.
Will white America continue to make this man their true American hero? Will America still make this man the image of what a true American is?
If they could do mental gymnastics to cop shooting unarmed black people, what makes you think they won't do mental gymnastics to keep Hogan propped up?
You know, that's a hell of a thing. That's a hell of a thing to cover up. But white folk won't hesitate to do it. That's a hell of a thing to cover up, but white folk will not hesitate to do it. They're going to protect their whites forever. And it's amazing, too, because they showed all that fake love to Malcolm Jamal Warner, who was a much greater American. He was a much greater representation for America. You know, Hulk Hogan had to lie his way through his entire career. Everything about Hulk Hogan is fake. Even his profession is fake. Everything, his body is fake. Everything about Hulk Hogan is fake. His name, his mustache, everything about Hulk Hogan is fake. His tan, everything about Hulk Hogan is fake. His back, his knees, everything about Hulk Hogan is fake. There's nothing real authentic about your manufactured American hero. Malcolm Jamal Warner was the real man, and like I said, you can't even find a fake story on Malcolm Jamal Warner in a negative sense. That man is a real American hero, and white America ought to be ashamed of themselves. White America ought to be ashamed of themselves for honoring a man like Terry Bollea and condemning any American Negro that choose not to celebrate him. This just shows you how trifling white America is. We're going to continue to keep tabs on Brooke Hogan, but don't ever think that Brooke Hogan is doing this for American Negroes. No, she's doing it for her own personal reasons. And which makes me not give a fuck about her personal reasons. White folk is nasty, and she probably doing the same damn thing to her children as we speak. Let's get ready to move on. About them is they are deceitful people.
Yeah, very deceitful.
They deceitful people. You know, the perfect example, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, the racist, Jacobian, yeah.
Hulk Hogan was a deceitful person. He made people like Perker Tom Ron believe that he could become a professional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much of a deceitful person he is, knowing damn well Perker Tom Ron can't be no professional wrestler. Have you ever seen a wrestler's teeth crooked?
Yes, absolutely.
Not like that.
Yeah, he don't have straight teeth on the bottom. I can really tell.
You know, that's just wrestling is a presentation. So they can have ugly people. Don't get me wrong, they got some ugly ass people.
Yeah, like Mick Foley, for example, because he had missing teeth.
No, see, missing is different than crooked.
Crooked.
This shit is crooked. Yeah, it's a difference.
Oh
So
yeah,
he
that's
got
real.
missing teeth, and it could go along with his character. You know what I'm saying? Actually, he lost his teeth in pro wrestling, so that actually helps build his brand. But Pekka and Ron stuff is not. You know, he don't have a story behind his teeth. So nobody gonna give a fuck from the start. You gonna scare the children, and who wants to scare their money? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You know, Pekka, you want to be a pro wrestler. Why don't you get in the gym while you're trying to get your money together, your couple of dollars? Why don't you get in the gym and work on your presentation?
Presentation, yes.
So that you could look like a wrestler once you get in there.
Mm-hmm.
See, you want to learn it all at one time. No, sir. You know, you got to show a little that you actually want to. You know, maybe people will help you put a little effort into something. So don't sit up here and talk about you want to be a pro wrestler. You know what I'm saying? And you can't do nothing to try to get there. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. You don't know what the hell you want.
Right. Maybe he wants to be Caucasian that we already know.
Do is just take a bath in the bleach.
Like, what made him a racist? Like, I
Well,
think
no, hold on. We'll get there. That's why I wanted to bring HBK up.
His hatred for black people make him racist.
Hold on, HBK. Hold on, one second. So HBK
John
is
Brown,
going to
bring your ass
answer
up
that.
here. We can't start off with his hatred for black people.
Hold on.
Let's start with that.
Hold on, HBK. Hold on, mans. Hold on. 1 second. Hold on. All right. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's let HBK give his submission. Then we can build from there, and we'll get to the other hands. Okay. Go ahead, HBK.
That was my fault. My bad.
Go ahead, HBK. But first of all,
I find it funny.
so you got a podcast, or what do you got? What?
Yeah, it's Rasslin with racism. It's viewing racism through the lenses of professional wrestling. That's professional wrestling. There's so much parallel with America.
Okay.
In a lot of ways.
Okay, talk to us.
So the show is actually bigger than wrestling, but we do use a lot of wrestling talk.
Well, let me ask you this:
on this
as
day,
you begin, did you grow up watching Hulk Hogan?
Yes, I grew up watching the latter years of Hulk Hogan, the NWO years.
You didn't see the '80s, late '80s.
Oh, that's after.
Not in real time. I was born in 1988. But as I became a wrestling historian, I started getting into Hulk Hogan in the '80s. I could watch Hulk Hogan matches today as much as because I'm a man that separates. And I want to start with this. I'm a man that separates entertainment from real life. I know how to step outside of reality. If y'all go to most concerts or anything featuring American Negro acts, you notice that a lot of the majority of people are white. They love us when we can entertain them. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, we're just an average nigger to them. And I want y'all to remember that. A white man do not have to call you a nigger to your face in order to be a racist. However, Hulk Hogan did call you a nigger to your face, and you still out here caping for this man.
When did he do that? That was a private conversation.
Well, it was a private conversation, but his true feelings about black people got exploited.
Okay, brother, you losing credibility fast.
It depends on who I'm losing credibility. It depends on who I'm losing it from. This was a private conversation that was exploited. So these are his true feelings. If Hulk Hogan had came out with his true feelings in the 80s, if Hulk Hogan
he called people.
Let him finish.
So the point is, remember. I started out by saying, do a white man have to call you a nigger to your face in order to be labeled racist?
Yeah.
These people remember. White America still put a band-aid over themselves.
HBK, have you ever used the word cracker?
No.
About white people?
No.
Okay, you're lying.
I don't. That gives them power.
You've never said it privately. You've never said it privately.
I give them the word cracker specifically gives them power. On top of that,
what term
cracker is not a term that cracker is not a term that hurts them.
Wait,
cracker is not a term that has internal.
HBK, hold on. Just hear me out for a second. Hear me out. So, what term do you use privately to describe white people?
White. The same thing that I use to them publicly. White. They're white folk.
So, do you say derogatory things about white people privately?
Nothing that I wouldn't say publicly.
So, how do you feel about white people?
They the devil.
Okay. So if a white person said that about a black person, would you say they're
They do.
racist? No, I'm asking you. So do
No,
you?
they
So
do.
would you?
Well, I
So
believe
wait.
I firmly
So would you?
believe
So would
I
you? So
firmly
would? So
believe
would you?
internally all white folk are
So would
racist.
you?
Every
Okay.
single one of them.
Okay.
Hey, this is a rapper historian. Can we
Do
please
you? Do
listen
you?
to the rapper historian?
So do you
The rapper
think?
historian said that Hulk Hogan called black people nigger to the face and
He
had some
Yeah.
did,
validation
sir. He
for it.
He
did. That's what he's
didn't.
trying to tell
He
you if you
didn't.
listen.
He
He
didn't.
did. Yes, he did.
Okay, Jelani, stay on your
His
mic,
his
please.
his private feelings became public.
Oh, okay. Wait. So here's my question. I want you to answer the question in the title. Do you think Hulk Hogan is a good man? Yes or no?
To the entire to it completely, no. And a lot of wrestlers throughout there, you have videos of hours of videos of top wrestlers throughout history
Thank you, brother.
talking about how
Listen.
bad of a person Hulk Hogan was. Hulk Hogan was selfish. Hulk Hogan was a businessman. He was out for himself, and he didn't put. You wouldn't believe him and Macho Man Randy Savage had thousands of matches. Macho Man Randy Savage never beat Hulk Hogan, not one time. Not one time.
Sanders hated his
Hulk Hogan
ass.
would never let anybody get over on him whatsoever. And Hulk Hogan has harmed this business to help elevate him. In this business, The Undertaker, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, they give back to wrestlers. They help build and elevate other wrestlers. Hulk Hogan never did that. So was Hulk Hogan a good man altogether? No. And there's tons of testimony out here of people that were in his time that can express that to you.
But how does that make him a racist?
That's not the
Hulk
subject of the
Hogan is a
room.
racist. Hulk Hogan is no different of a racist than any other white American citizen.
White people,
By nature are racist.
everybody
By nature, white folk are hateful.
This brother's not credible.
Yeah,
No,
you
he's
losing
very credible.
credibility
He
with
just
me
told
being
you all
credible,
type of
bro.
To some
facts that
handkerchief
you all
head
know nothing
Peckerton
about.
Negroes, I guess I do.
because you're talking
To
about
some
you're talking
handkerchief
about
head Peckerton Negroes that's gonna kiss a white man ass that view them as a nigger, sure. I don't give a fuck about having credibility with y'all. If that's the case,
Well, HBK,
so we're niggers now.
I'm not
No,
about to
brother,
kiss
you
a white
good.
man ass
Brother,
Right.
you
because he's
are a
dead. I'm
historian.
not about to
These
kiss a
guys
white
are
man
not
ass
So,
because
historians.
he's dead.
HBK, let me ask.
This is the conclusion of this week's edition of Rasslin with Racism, and I hope that each and every single American Negro not only learned something, but enjoyed the program. We honor Mr. T as he is a true American hero that white folk made sure that they hid from the American Negro communities across America. I wish each and every single American Negro to have a great weekend and to protect yourself as an individual and protect one another as family. As our ancestor, Frankie Beverly, stated plainly, we are one. And that's the way it is. We here at Rasslin with Racism hope that each and every single American Negro enjoyed this edition of Rasslin with Racism. As we can assure you that wrestling with racism is not the easiest thing in the world to do. We here at Rasslin with Racism aim to exploit white truths. However, white truths isn't the easiest thing to live through. As we continue to wrestle with racism, we are in the second half of our second season, and Wrestling with Racism is hiring for key positions. We are actively seeking an editor. If you are an editor and you are an American Negro, please feel free to DM me your resume. You must be in tune with professional wrestling and social issues regarding race, specifically with American Negroes. You may DM me at noncrackersatal with the L on the end on Twitter X, which is also the place where you can find more white truths. Rasslin with Racism is also actively seeking an associate producer. Please DM me your resume if you are interested in the position.
You may also DM me at non-crackers@out on Twitter X, which is also where you can find more white truths. To American Negroes, we encourage you all to voice your opinion on the state of professional wrestling and American Negroes' participation in professional wrestling on camera and behind the scenes, also in executive roles. If you would like to join HBK 400, Deportation 2025, the owner of a stolen gun, and our trusted, valued correspondents, Foundational Bearded American, and Duke CT from the Duke CT Lounge, feel free to DM me at non-crackers@out on Twitter X, which is also the place where you can find more white truths. It is important for our voices to become collective as we are truly facing erasure. American Negroes, take care of yourself as an individual and protect one another as family. As our ancestor, Frankie Beverly, stated plainly, we are one. And that's the way it is. We hope that you enjoyed Rasslin with Racism, and we encourage you all to leave a comment below letting us know what you felt about this particular program and the program overall. And if you are an American Negro and you are not subscribed to Rasslin with Racism, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe and share with every single American Negro that you know, whether they are a wrestling fan or not. You may also check us out and subscribe, follow on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, and at non-crackers@out on Twitter X for more white truths. Thank you for tuning in and have a great week.